Hey everybody, Jessica here, and I'm going to give you a quick introduction to the new Vectallic Magic brushes for Adobe CS5 and Adobe CS6. And what I did was I took my original image brushes that were exclusively for Adobe Illustrator CC Creative Cloud, and I reverse engineered them to make them 100% vector so that most of the rest of you guys can start using them if you're not, if you don't have the latest version of Illustrator, because I got a ton of requests for that. So if you guys put in a request and there's enough of you, then I'll definitely do it. So I was able to do that, and basically I'm just going to give you a little quick walkthrough to show you what we're working with here. Now if you open up your folder, you're going to see the main product, additional products, little bonus things, and then a document that says read before starting. Make sure you read that. And I'm going to go right into the main product. I have a huge tutorial playlist about working with these brushes that you can look through and go over everything else, and it already goes over everything that's included in this product. But whenever I was making these 100% vector, I was able to make them a little bit different and easier to use as well. So I'll just kind of go through and show you what's new. So here we've got our main product, we've got our brushes, and then you can just pick your version. I also included the CC version, which is what I'm working with, but it's the same thing. They're 100% vector brushes, and that's why you can use them with the older versions. Now, if you just open one of these, you'll see that I have each collection is in its own document, and there's 5 collections plus splatters. And this is so that you could just use the brushes that you want. You don't have to load them all up, although you can load them all up if you want. But these are the different collections, and basically you can just double click to open one of these, and I already have one open. This is the Essentials 4 collection, and as you see here, we have got the strokes already put out in gold for you so that you could see. And then this is what we had before, and this is this new layered brush technique that I created to give you a lot of different control over the intensity and lightness and darkness in the brush strokes. And I go over this in my other video, but what's cool is you don't actually need to use these this layered brush technique, because the brushes now are 100% vector. You're able to change the color much more easily without having to use a layered brush technique. So basically we want to go look over here at our brushes. And when you open every brush collection, you're going to see the gold brushes on top, and then the brushes as a one color brush. That's for this layered brush technique, which you can get into if you like, or if you don't want to, you don't need that kind of control, then you can just ignore these. And then the bottom brushes are the brushes in color. So if I want to make a gold brush stroke, I can just grab one of my brushes and go like this. And so it's very cool. Now, say I want to do that short brush stroke in color. So I will go over here. I kind of move some stuff around, and I'm going to pick a color, a purple. And so now, if I pick one of these brushes down here that have a hue shift applied, I go like this. Now it's going to apply that brush in purple. So we can squeeze in here a little bit so you can get a little bit better of a view. But that's because these are 100% vector, it makes it really easy to colorize them. So you can just choose the color and go like that. So it's really awesome. That's actually one of the bonuses of having the 100% vector brushes, is that the color is just so much easier now. You don't have to use the layered brush technique. But the reason why I did have this layered brush technique here is sometimes you want a little bit more control and you want to change the color and intensity of your brush stroke. And that's why I left these here, so that you can do that as well, just like I had on the original Vector Magic brushes. So say I go in here and I draw, let's see, I'll just zoom in just a little bit. Let's just say I draw with the original brush stroke here, and this is in gold. but I want to have a little bit more control over coloring it and everything. Well, I can use my eyedropper tool, click on one of these colored brushes, and now I've got this stack of brushes applied to this stroke so that I can take this stroke, I can make it darker, more intense, I can make it lighter, I can change the color. If I want to have it even lighter, I can change this overlay brush stroke to white to have that there. So I go into all of that in my other tutorial videos, but I just wanted to leave that there for you so that if you want that extra color control, you can have them. But in general, it's just as easy as using your gold brush strokes here, the top ones. Oops, I have that on a, oh, it picks up my last appearance. So anyway, that's why I put it out light. But you've got the gold brush strokes here, or the ones at the bottom are the ones with the hue shift. So you can take advantage of that easy colorizing, and it's just like so much faster than the other brush strokes. So I can just sit here and pick a color. Let's pick a blue or something, and then draw a brush stroke, and it's in blue. So it's actually a little easier than the original ones. So I have, that's the main gist of the brushes. And then also, say for example, if you have a document already open and you want to apply the brushes to this thing, you need to load the brushes up. So that's if you just open the document and start playing in that document. But if you want to, you have a document already open and you want to use the brushes, well, what you can do, you can always copy and paste them in as well. But you can look at your brush library here, go to Window, and if you don't see it, go Window, Brushes. And then down here at the bottom, we can go, you can actually load here at the top, click Open Brush Library, or you could do it down here at the bottom and go, excuse me here, Other Library. And then you just navigate to your brushes. So let's just back it up here. Hold on one second while I find my brushes. Let's see here. All right, I have navigated back to my brushes here. So I'll just use the CC because I have CC, but you can use the CS5 or CS6. And so you just navigate and find your brushes like I did eventually. And we've got here all the different collections. So I'll just click Essentials 1 and click Open. And so that loads that up here into this document. And now if you want to have these like always available even for your other documents in Illustrator, just click here at the top right and click Persistent, and that's way it'll stay, you'll have the access to these brushes even whenever you open a new document or in your other documents. So, and then you can just go through and like load up whichever ones you want. But I'll just use my shortcuts here because I had them before. And that's my Essentials 2. Now let's see, I'll do 4. So you can just like load them all up that way, and then make sure you click top right so that they're persistent and they'll show up in all your documents. And then I can just select this and apply it to my item, although I'll want to take that down a little bit. And that's how easy it is. So whenever you're loading up your brushes, you still load the same from the same file here. So we've got the main product brushes, and this is the file that contains the brushes like already laid out like this, but that's the same ones that you can load from. So it's really easy and just fun to work with. So that's the basics of it. I encourage you also to look at my other playlist, the rest of the playlist, because I go into all different tips and tricks on getting the most with your product. And what's cooler now is like a lot of my tips and tricks were for using the coloring system. But now with the new brushes, now what's really cool is that the coloring is so much easier and faster, and you don't really have to use the eyedropper tool a lot. You can just use those instant color brushes for the main things, and then if you like to, and if you need more color control with an Illustrator over the color and intensity and everything, then you can use that layer brush technique that I sort of pioneered for my image brushes. So hopefully you'll enjoy using these, and if you have any questions for additional support after you've already watched the tutorials and everything, then just send me a message to support@creatorscouture.com.